Hey guys, just about to do a Modern Masters 2015 draft. It's only the second one I've done. I did one that I didn't record. This is the first one I'm recording for the channel. It's a pretty fun format if you haven't had a chance to play it yet. It's got lots of synergies and archetypes. Every color pair has a cool archetype to play. They're all pretty fun, I think. I've only played the Black-White Spirits one so far, and we'll see where we end up going with this one. Looks like it's going to fire any moment. These fill up pretty quickly, luckily. Although now it's stalling on 7, but all right, here we go. And what do we have? Tarmogoyf. Well, Wolfbriar Elemental's huge, massive, ridiculous bomb in this format. So 4 mana 4/4, which is nice, and then for every green mana you can pay, you get a 2/2 green wolf creature token, which is absolutely ridiculous. This is probably what we're going to take. I need to look around the pack a little bit. I mean, it's one of the best cards in this whole format. I doubt anything will be better, but it's good to see. The other cards that are pretty good, I mean, if you're in the ramp deck, the Artisan of Kozilek is good, of course. Bloodshot Trainee is good in the red-white equipment deck. It's one of the better uncommons, I think. Because you can pretty easily get it to 4, and then it can just kill anything, basically, most things. Bone Splinters can be nice. Gut Shot is always nice. Mana Leak's good. Scatter the Seed's good in the right deck, but it's pretty clear that our it's pretty clear that our Wolfbriar Elemental is the best card in this pack, though, and we're gonna take him. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. That means we could be the green-blue creature tokens deck, but it could also mean a lot of other things. All right, there's a Niv Mizzet here. I don't think he's worth anything. He's actually not bad in draft either. He's not amazing either. I mean, there are definitely some uncommons I would take over him. Well, actually, this is Niv Mizzet, the Firemind. Yeah, he's not worth anything. So we're in green. We got Scatter the Seeds if we want to do that. This pack, for us isn't that great. It's pretty likely we end up green-blue with what we picked up in the beginning. So Scatter the Seeds could be good. But I'm going to take sort of a less committal pick in the Vapor Snag. I mean, it's still in the green-blue archetype, but it's it's a removal spell. Like, if we don't end up generating a lot of tokens, that's really not going to be that good. So I'll take the Vapor Snag as a decent removal spell. All right, well, yeah, we're ending up in the creature token deck. Bestial Menace, I think, might be the best uncommon in the set, at least in green, and maybe in any color. It's pretty ridiculous. Dismember is also really good, too, of course. There might be an argument for taking that here. It's just such a good removal spell. Any colors can play it. Blinding Soul Eater's nice. You can tap for free, basically. You pay life, but basically free. But I think I'm going to take the Bestial Menace. I think the Bestial Menace and the Dismember are probably the two best cards in this pack. But Bestial Menace is just ridiculous. I mean, you get 6 power for 5 mana, and it's spread out across 3 creatures, so it's going to be pretty nice for us. For sure. But Dismember is really good too. I may regret not taking it if I can't find removal later. Okay. Lodestone Mirror is still around, which probably means artifacts are pretty open. May just take the Simic Initiate, though he's not that exciting. I think I'll probably take Steady Progress. I mean, chances are, since we're in these colors, we're going to pick up dudes with Graft like this one. This one's not very exciting, so it's basically a cantrip that's going to, pump my guys. It can basically be a combat trick if you have enough guys with Graft. Scion of the Wild also is pretty good if we can generate a lot of tokens, and it looks like we can, but he's not great. I think it's pretty funny that he used to be a rare. I don't remember. I think he was printed in Ravnica block originally as a rare, and they dropped him all the way to a common because that is probably where he should be. So, all right, Aether Snipe is really good. It's not exactly in our archetype. It's an elemental, but it's a very good card. Early game, you can just use it to bounce a non-land permanent. And late game, you can use it. You can play as a 4/4 that when it dies will bounce a non-land permanent. I don't think we want rampant growth. I don't think we're leaning towards the ramp deck here. A little ramp might be nice though, but I don't want to take it this early. Even if I do want rampant growth, I think I'd much rather have Aether Snipe. And I'm going to move it over to the 3. Okay, well, Spirits might be pretty open too with Hikari there, but I don't think I want it. I think I might just take the Cloud Elemental. It's just an efficient beater. It's not an incredible card or anything. Plummet's a nice sideboard card, but I think I'd rather take the Elemental, who I'll definitely play, I think, whereas the Plummet won't definitely be in my main board. Wings of Veilous Veil's okay, but I think Cloud Elemental's Mutagenic Growth, Sylvan Bounty, basic land cycling, huh? I think we might go for the Graft Mage here. Telling Time might also be nice. Mutagenic Growth's all right. I mean, it can be a pretty big trick, but I think we want the Graft Mage. I still don't think we want the Scion. I think we'd need some earlier token generation to really make that work. And we'll see lots of them. I mean, we've already seen 2. So I think we'll take the Graft Mage here. Gnarlid Pack. Okay. Well, this can come into play with +1/+1 counters on it. And it's a Grizzly Bear, a bear, just a 2-mana 2/2 with which late game can be better than that. Telling Time's nice. The Simic Growth Chamber is a little tempting. And maybe I should take that. I mean, I think it's more likely I see more of these now that I think about it. And getting one of these is pretty nice, so I think I'll take one. Might also open us up to a splash of some kind later. Pretty happy about that guy right there still. Okay, well, we have ramp. We also could take a gut shot potentially, but I think this is a pretty good, it's like a colorless rampant growth basically. And we might want to be ramping, especially, we've got a multi-kicker and a Bestial Menace. Our curve can get higher. Commune with Nature's okay, but not amazing. And Gut Shot is, Gut Shot's pretty good, but I'm okay taking that ramp here. Okay, we're going to take Scatter the Seeds now that we're firmly headed down the token path. Do I want another Cloud Elemental? Vines of Vastwood, can basically make my opponent waste a removal spell, and not only that, if I kick it, it can make my dude huge. And I think I'm going to take it. Dread Drone still being around. I mean, we also saw an Eldrazi Temple. The Eldrazi ramp deck is probably pretty open. We'll take an Initiate. He may not make the deck. He's pretty boring. An uninteresting guy. I mean, if we have enough proliferate effects, he might be worth something. Yeah, see, there's another one right there. So I don't think we'll play him, but we aren't going to play any of those other cards either. Right now, we don't have any like straight up removal. We have a couple bounce spells and Vapor Snag and Aether Snipe. We can also use Vines of Vastwood as removal of sorts. I think Bone Splinters is actually better than people are valuing it in this draft, since it's still around. It actually might not be a bad splash card in a deck where we can generate tons of tokens if we're desperate for removal, I guess. All right, now we're going to open our Tarmogoyf. I think I'm feeling it. Maybe even a foil one. Who knows? I'd be pretty happy about that. It would make our deck too. We even have an artifact that could end up in our graveyard early, and he could end up. He's actually not huge most of the time in draft, but okay. Dominable Archangel is pretty good for the artifact deck. It's pretty good in general because it's a 4-mana 4/4. Water Servant's pretty nice though. I wouldn't object to taking that right here. It's not exactly in our archetype. We're kind of overlapping a little into the elemental archetype here, but I think that's fine. We can cast Shrewd Hatchling, and we do have a lot of blue spells, so it's worth thinking about. He might be worth taking. I mean, he's better, of course, in the blue-red elemental deck. then he's going to be in our deck. So maybe we do want the Water Servant instead. I think the Water Servant on average will probably be better in our deck. But the Shrewd Hatchling is very good. Otherwise, this pack doesn't have a whole lot for us. I don't really, I mean, if this weren't double white, I might consider splashing it, since we do have a Wayfarer's Bauble for fixing and things like that. But, and I guess, actually, oh, I have so little time. No, yeah, we're going with the Water Servant. I was going to say maybe I should take that, and maybe I could move into red more. Okay, well, that's the kind of guy we want for a Graf deck, for sure. The Cytoplast Rootkin. Another guy who used to be a rare in Ravnica block, but he only got downgraded to an uncommon and not a common. Thrive wouldn't be awful in our deck, but I can almost guarantee it's going to make it back to us. And Selesnya Guildmage would be great in our deck, but it may also make it back to us. Nameless Inversion's a really good card. Tezzeret Gambit's a pretty good card, but I think that the Rootkin's better. We need more +1/+1 counters, I think, before we can get a bunch of proliferate, like the Thrumming Bird and things like that. So yeah, we'll take the Rootkin. We're pretty strong at 4-drops. I'm pretty happy with all those guys. I don't think this is what we want. We don't have a lot of instants and sorceries at this point anyway. Might take the Mana Leak here. Kozilek's Predator, though, is just pretty good in general, even if you're not in the Eldrazi ramp deck, I think. But I think the Mana Leak, you know, we don't have a whole lot of removal. I think the Mana Leak, we also don't have anything to do on turn 2 at this point. I think the Mana Leak would be pretty nice. So I think I'm going to take that. Lower scale Coatl is very good for the kind of deck we're looking at. Coatl, however you say that. It's an interesting word in Magic that I don't think is a real one at all. So it's hard to know how to say it. Fairy Mechanist, yeah, that's for the Artifact deck. He's pretty good in the Artifact deck, though. 4 mana, 2/2, who lets you draw an artifact, basically. You look at the top 3 and pick an artifact from among them. But yeah, we're definitely taking the Coatl, this snake. He gets a +1/+1 counter every time we draw a card, which is obviously every turn, so he just keeps getting bigger. And we have a couple proliferate effects already, so +1/+1 counters are our friends. So take him we will. Okay, there's a Gnarlid pack. Another Cloud Elemental. Another Vines of Vastwood, but I think we want the Gnarlid pack. We have like no 2-drops at this point, and he's a 2-drop who isn't you. I mean, if you draw him later, he's actually pretty good, and that's worth something. I think makes him a little better. Helium Squirter is also worth consideration here. We just have so many like high drops already that I don't think we want it. And he also has +1/+1 counter synergy, though not as strong as a creature with Graft, of course, but he has it nonetheless. So +1/+1 counter things we have are Gnarlid pack, Fijian Graft Mage, Coatl, and Rootkin at this point. Another Gnarlid pack, and a Karplusan Strider, who's, you know, pretty good. He's not as good as you'd think, but he's pretty good. You know, he doesn't quite have protection from blue and black, but he can't be targeted by their removal spells, basically. But you know, I think we just want another Gnarlid pack. Although I just changed my mind now that I saw Repeal, which I somehow overlooked. Yeah, it's another bounce spell, and it also cantrips, so that works well with our Coatl, and it's, you know, a good, it's just a good removal spell, even though it's not permanent removal. We're definitely going to take Repeal here. Okay, Rootkin Ally. No, you don't even, yeah, you're Convoke, which is okay in our deck, but you know, I don't think I want him. Question is Fijian Graft Mage or Helium Squirter. And I think we'll take the Squirter. Giving our stuff flying seems good. I don't think I would play 2 Graft Mages. This may not make our deck either, but well, that's actually pretty good too. I actually think I'm going to take Nest Invader now that I'm looking at it. It's a 2 mana 2/2 that you get a 0/1. Okay, another Repeal and another Gnarlid pack. I think I'm going to take this Repeal as well. Yeah, the Gnarlid pack's nice, but we're seeing so many of them. I bet we see more. They're common, and there's still a whole other pack. So, yeah, this Bestial Menace is a menace. In the first draft I played in, I played against a guy who had at least one of these and may have had more, and he kept casting it in Overwhelming Stampede, which is 3 and 2 green for creatures you control get +X/+X and gain trample until end of turn, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. So, and he wiped me out twice with that. He's the guy who won the first draft I was in too. So he did pretty well. It'd be nice for us to see a Overwhelming Stampede. I don't think we're going to though. Okay. Tukatung Thallid is a 1-drop who puts a Saproling in its wake, but I think I'd rather just have a Cloud Elemental than I would a Tukatung Thallid. Yeah. Flying is pretty nice, as I'm sure you know. Okay, well, no, it's a sorcery. If Thrive were an instant, it would be much better, obviously, but I don't think we do want that. I'll probably take the Wings of Velas Veil, and it might not make our deck. Probably won't even. At this point, I'm not sure I would actually run the Bauble. I am happy getting one of these late. The artifact deck is a thing, and having a way to kill them, to blow up artifacts, is nice, and enchantments. And it has Convoke, so it can be free in our deck sometimes. Okay, we'll take Commune with Nature here. It may make our deck. I may not run the Bauble right now, the way things are looking. Another one of these is nice too. I mean, there's a pretty, at least one person at this table, and maybe two, is drafting the artifact deck, and the Sundering Vitae is nice against them, obviously. So I'm happy to get them in my sideboard late in this pack. But yeah, at this point, I don't think we run the Bauble. Okay, we're going to take a Gnarlid pack now, I think. And we'll take a Helium Squirter, so I'm glad we didn't take it earlier. Yeah, it's always harder for me when I first start a set to trim the deck. It takes me longer to figure out what the... Oh, God. Well, I may have to take that for money purposes. There's also a foil Niv-Mizzet, but am I wrong in thinking Iona's worth something? And too bad it's not what the foil is. Yeah, it's worth four tickets, and I'm all about the value. So I think it's what I'm going to take here. 4 tickets, is almost another pack for this. The Aquastrand Spider, the Aether Snipe, and the Remand are all pretty good. Although I think Remand's actually worth something too. Remand would be better for our deck, of course. No, this one's worth about 2 tickets, so not a lot. But this is only worth 4 tickets. So I think I am actually going to take Remand. I mean, it's better for our deck, for sure. And yeah, we're going to take Remand. Aether Snipe's nice too, but we'll take the Remand. Having these early counter spells is going to be nice for us. This Aether Snipe should be here, I think. Narcolepsy is not a bad removal spell. It's kind of like a crappy pacifism. At the beginning of each upkeep, if enchanted creature is untapped, tap it. So, it has a similar effect to pacifism. And it might be what we take here. Thrumming Bird is nice, but we haven't gotten a huge number of +1/+1 counter effects. And I think we need removal. Like, all of our removal so far just bounces stuff. And Narcolepsy can at least take something off of the table. Although, oh god, this thing is just so good, though. I think I'm just going to take it. I know that I need something like Narcolepsy, but Algae-Garial, is so good in general and good in this deck. Shroud is always good in this format, and so is, the fact that it gets bigger every time something dies. I think I'm going to take Gut Shot here. I'm not sure if it'll actually make our deck, but like I was just saying, we do need removal, and it can work as such, and Vapor Snag. We've already got one, and so I think I'm going to take the Gut Shot. Not sure if it'll make our deck at this point. Okay, another one of these would be nice. and I think that's what we're going to take. Yeah, Fiery Fall is a pretty nice card if you're in red because, late game it can blow up a creature, and early game it can help you fix. I've never even seen this card before, Agony Warp. That's pretty cool. Basically can work out as, you can get a 2-for-1 in some situations anyway. But yeah, we'll take another one of these. And an Aether Snipe. Yeah, we'll probably take an Aether Snipe. Although Gust Skimmer is not bad in our deck. I don't think we need 2 Simic Growth Chambers since it's pretty clear that blue and green are open enough for us to be in them. I think Aether Snipe's where we want to go here. This can come into play with +1/+1 counters, but Aether Snipe's just, far and away. Other than Shrewd Hatchling, which in the blue-red deck is incredible and could be okay in our deck, Aether Snipe's the best card in this deck, I think. In this pack, rather. And we'll take it. Take a second one of those bad boys, and we can take a third one now. This is kind of a trap, I think. It looks like it would be really good in our deck, but I don't think it is. I think it's too expensive, and I think by the time you have it out there, like, if you've got to, not only do you have to cast a spell to do it, but you've got to have some dudes with your counters on them to do it, so I guess I'm just going to take a third Aether Snipe, although maybe I should take a Gust Skimmer. I mean, 2 Aether Snipes is pretty good. And Gust Skimmer, is another 2-drop, and it can get evasion if I want it, which really isn't bad. So yeah, I guess I'll take the Gust Skimmer. We need to get some low curve things, and this Aquastrand Spider coming back is exactly the kind of low curve thing that we want. Well, Wrecking Ball's still around, so black-red, I guess, is open-ish, because that thing is, just straight up destroy target creature is not super easy to find in this format, but we'll take Aquastrand Spider, another Gust Skimmer, or do we want Scatter the Seeds? That's what it's between for us. We don't want Simic Initiate of that, I'm sure. We already have 2 that we're not going to play, so creature tokens. We really don't have that many. Nest Invader's going to make one, and we already have 1 Scatter the Seeds, and we have Bestial Menace, but I think I'll just take another Gust Skimmer here. And we'll take another Aquastrand Spider. Yeah, Elementals, man. Maybe that should have been my jam, huh? I did get a lot of good Elementals, and clearly the red the red-blue deck was open. We also saw 2 of those Shrewd Hatchlings, although I think we saw those pretty early in packs, never late. Okay, Narcolepsy came back, which I think is fine. I think we need something like it more than we need Thrumming Bird. And we'll take another Vapor Snag. I don't think we're going to play this Commune with Nature, and then we're not going to play. I'm just going to take the removal spell. Oh, that's not really a removal spell. I'll take what's the best card in this, which I think is this Changeling. He's good in the Spirit deck. I had him in my Spirit deck yesterday, and he was pretty good. As a Changeling, he's a Spirit, and he can pump himself. So, yeah, it's going to be hard to trim this. It's always harder, like I said, at the beginning of packs, at the beginning of, not packs, but draft formats, to sort of figure out what you want to do. And I kind of feel like we can go a more aggressive route and a less aggressive route. I don't know if I want 2 repeals now. I don't really think I do. And I don't really want any of these. I don't even think I'm going to play both my Gust Skimmers. But, well, maybe I'll take a Rune Servitor. It's foil, why not? I'll take a Sign in Blood, which is pretty good, and a Steady Progress isn't bad, but we already have one, so. And ours may not even make our deck. I need to sort of, when I'm building my deck, I need to look how many things we have with +1/+1 counter synergies. I'm actually going to make like a pile of that right now. Okay, +1/+1 counters. You have them. You can get them, but you're not always going to have them. You get them as long as you survive a turn. You have them. You do stuff with them. You proliferate. You don't have them. And you have them. So we got a decent number of things with +1/+1 counters. I think I'm missing, yeah, there's the Rootkin. Oh, and the Algae Garial. I don't know, man. So we've got a lot of +1/+1 counters, and then with tokens, we have a much smaller stack. So I don't think Scatter the Seeds can make our deck. We don't have enough like early drops, I don't think, to really, well, maybe we do, to power out Scatter the Seeds, but I don't think it's for our deck. We didn't get like a card that really makes us want to go super wide. So, okay, now we'll, so I think we do want to leave our Proliferate Draw Card spell in here. Did I end up not taking one? Yeah, Steady Progress. I think we are going to want it as many things as we have with +1/+1 counters. And yeah, so let's sort by converted mana cost and then group creatures separately. Okay, so what we need to do is definitely cut some spells. And I think in the end, even though I was pretty excited about repeal, we definitely don't want 2 Steady Progresses. I think we want to cut both our repeals. We got 2 Vapor Snags, which don't have a cantrip on them like repeal, but it's pretty nice. I think we didn't get a whole lot of removal, so like Vines of Vastwood, which can work like it sometimes, and it is something that's going to stay in here. Oh yeah, we already have 1 land. This is basically a creature, even though it doesn't look like one. And now I think we need to cut creatures. Both our Gust Skimmers may be gone, I think. And what do we have that can I mean, our Helium Squirter can make everything fly. So that's pretty nice. Yeah, I don't think we want the Gust Skimmer. Water Servant might also be a little bit of a question mark now. Although probably not. It's a pretty good 4-drop. I mean, you know, it doesn't fit our theme at all here, really, but it's a 4-mana 3/4, which passes the vanilla test already, and then it has all kinds of, well, not all kinds. It has 2 abilities that make it pretty either durable or aggressive. If only it gave itself +1/+1 counters or something until end of turn, something weird like that. Question is whether we want this Graph Mage more, and the reason I'm inclined to say yes is because we have stuff like Cytoplast Rootkin, who when he comes into play will put a +1/+1 counter on everything else that has them. And so I think having as many things as we can have with those is good. I mean, and we can go wide. I mean, we can put +1/+1 counters on stuff. Like our stuff with Graft can move +1/+1 counters around. So like this Helium Squirter can put +1/+1 counters on other things to help them fly, and things like that. So you know, there could be even more +1/+1 counters moved around by the time the Rootkin hits the table. I think we want both the Remand and the Mana Leak. You know, those are just pretty huge spells. Narcolepsy isn't amazing, but it's like our only straight-up removal, so it's staying. We need to cut 3 more cards, I would say. These are basically, you know, I guess I'll put 1 at 3 and 1 at 6, because maybe that's how it'll go. Yeah, and these are basically not creatures, and they're up in the creature area. They're like maybe each of them might count for half a creature, perhaps. So maybe we have 1 creature there. But we definitely want both of them. Definitely don't want to cut the Coatls. Might want to cut a Cloud Elemental. I think that's probably what we're going to end up doing. The Nest Invader, I mean, our curve isn't really high, but getting, like, say, a turn 3, well, we don't want a turn 3 Wolf Brow Elemental, but a turn 3 Water Servant or a turn 4 Bestial Menace is pretty huge, and I mean, it's just a decent beater, so I think we want to keep it. I mean, it's, you know, 2 mana, 2/2, which is worth something. Yeah, we still need to cut 1 more card. Maybe it is Steady Progress. I mean, it's probably the weakest of the cards that are down here. I mean, but it is our only Proliferate effect right now. And I think Proliferate's going to be pretty good in our deck, so I don't think we want to cut it. May just be another Cloud Elemental. 3 mana, 2/3. I mean, with flying is pretty nice, but yeah, I think it's going to be the Cloud Elemental. I think that is what we're left with is good. I don't think we want the Wayfarer's Bauble or Commune with Nature. I think we're good going with what we have here. And okay, we'll just add our lands. Oh, I should actually, excuse me, sort by color and group, combine groups. Okay, yeah, we're pretty much half and half. We have 2 cards. I mean, this can be, it doesn't have to be super intensive to blue. It doesn't have to at all. But the Wolfbriar Elemental can be pretty intensive to the green. And we have 1 source of both. So I think I'm just going to go half and half is the way it's going to be. The Aether Snipe's cost is also double blue, so. But I think that's good. I think it's pretty cool that the lands they give you here are these unhinged lands, which are some of the coolest lands they've ever made for sure. So, all right, I think that's our deck. I hope it does well. Thanks for watching the draft, and soon you'll be seeing round 1. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you feel so inclined. So.